From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
Dennis's Heating and Air Conditioning is Northern California's premier heating and air conditioning contractor. From residential housing, large commercial projects, installation to repair, sheet metal fabrication, and everything in between, we are your go-to heating and air conditioning specialist.
Well, we've got that meteor shower that is going to be here over the weekend. It's the Perseid meteor shower. And it's actually been here since July 14th. But there hasn't been a lot of talk about it because the peak of this meteor shower is going to be this weekend. So Saturday night and even into Sunday night as well. Now, during the time of this peak here, the moon will be about 10% full. So shouldn't really deter too much. So that should make for some pretty good viewing. Now, the thing is, you look at some of the numbers out there as far as how many you could see per hour. It's typically going to be on average probably between 50 and 75, upwards of maybe 90. I've read other places where it could be upwards of 100. So I think it's a safe bet to say probably somewhere in that 50 to 75 range per hour. So certainly a very good chance to see at least one per minute. If you have good eyesight and just good vision in general. But some of the viewing tips, of course, best viewed in the Northern Hemisphere, which of course is where we are. And, just look up. You don't need to look in any particular direction, but overall, just look up to the sky, and if you're lucky, you'll probably see a meteor. Kind of interesting here. Take a look at what's going on here with those temperatures. I'm expecting the possibility for some thunderstorms, number one. Now, we've been talking about this all week long, and there's been really a high level of uncertainty as far as, number one, the timing, the intensity, and even the placement, exactly where these thunderstorms are going to be. So we'll kind of dive into that here in this update here. But summer heat returns this weekend, and the heat wave that we're being experiencing will probably last through all of next week, making it the second longest stretch of 100+ degree temperatures that we'll probably see so far for the season. Let's take a look at your hour-by-hour forecast tonight. In the low to mid 60s here for the valley. Temperature is not changing much, probably somewhere in the low to mid 90s for your daytime highs. Now for the mountains, looking at temperatures mainly in the upper 80s to even some low 90s in there, so getting a little bit warmer for some of the mountain locations. 90 degrees for Mount Shasta City, 92 for Susanville. Notice, Susanville could see a stray shower or thunderstorm, maybe out towards Boerne as well, but as you start heading westward toward the Boerne area and even toward the Chester area, for example, I think the chances will be a bit slimmer. All right, so the reason why we're talking about the chance for thunderstorms and what we've been talking about is this right here. The projection of the remnants from a tropical storm moving in, so you've got that moisture, and now it's over Southern California. That will be migrating northward in our direction over the next 12 to 24 hours. As it does that, we see our chances for thunderstorms increase. So we take a look at the fire potential for Friday. What we're noticing here is this. This right here is that moderate risk. Today, it's been in the yellow, right? So we were looking at it in that low risk. But now, with that slight chance for a bit of activity here, especially in the eastern mountains, maybe as far west as Boerne, we could be looking at the potential for maybe some dry lightning strikes. But I'll say this, and the reason why this isn't red is because the chances are pretty slim. And then, of course, as you head west, we're looking at yellows and greens in there. Now, we're going to fast forward a day from Saturday because Saturday is going to look a lot like what you just saw. But Sunday, what we're seeing here now, almost everyone is seeing an uptick here. So for everyone that was yellow, you're getting upgraded to the moderate risk, the brown. For everyone that was green, including the coast here, you're getting upgraded to a low risk. And you can see here, everyone that was brown is being upgraded to red, which is that potential for lightning strikes. Now, here's the thing. We go into Sunday, I think all of these areas could see a chance for some thunderstorms here. So we'll have to kind of watch for that and take a look at that. Let's start off by taking a look at the severe outlook. The National Weather Service, the Storm Prediction Center, still putting most of Northern California, or really in that green, indicating the best chances for thunderstorms. And this actually looks pretty good for your Saturday. I think most of the activity will be in this general area here. And yes, it is including the valley. Your eyes are not deceiving you. And yes, we could see some of that activity coming in, but probably late in the day on Saturday. We're talking probably even Saturday evening before we start to see some of those showers and maybe even a few thunderstorms making their way into the valley. So let's take a look at Futurecast, show you what we've got going on. This is what it looks like through Friday. Remember I was mentioning, so you can see right here, we're seeing the potential in extreme eastern Lassen County. So as you start heading west, the chances diminish, but it's not out of the question for places like Susanville, Chester, maybe even Bernie to get in on some of that action on Friday. But overall, Friday's the transition day because we're beginning to see that moisture move in, but the instability isn't quite there yet. Now we take you into Saturday. This is where things get a bit more interesting. So you're noticing a few things here. Number one, we've got one here in Trinity County. We got some activity off to the east. Now, remember when you saw the Storm Prediction Centers, that area of green with the thunderstorm chances, that was this area right here. So you can see this is where the bulk of the activity is, right here in that area of green. So I think this is where the best chances for thunderstorms will be. But we are seeing activity developing in northern Trinity County, which means Siskiyou County could see some activity, and not to mention Modoc County. Now we're looking at Saturday. Now we have to go to Saturday evening, about 7 p.m. Now you see what's happening? You see how it's making its way into the valley. So one thing to keep in mind with thunderstorms, you need upward momentum. You need an upward lift for these thunderstorms to develop. So what happens is they go down the mountains, that's a downward motion. So what that does is typically these thunderstorms begin to die down as they head down the mountain into the valley. So as you can see, it's going to be mainly in the form of showers by the time it does make its way into places like Redding and even Red Bluff. And again, you can see that here. Now, sometimes these storms do survive that thunderstorm strength and makes its way into the valley. So could places like Redding and Red Bluff possibly see an isolated thunderstorm Saturday evening? Absolutely, there's a chance for it. And not to mention even in Chico. Now we go to the long-range forecast model, and it's still only showing the clouds and the moisture being there, but it's not showing the instability with the potential for thunderstorms. But I do think we'll see a chance for thunderstorms for all of the areas in the higher elevations. I'm taking the valley out of that forecast for Sunday, at least for now, but I'll keep watching it here for you. All right, so if you have plans over the weekend, you're going to need to keep a close eye on things because thunderstorms can pop up anywhere at any time, especially in the higher elevations. There's Monday. There you can see it looks like some better chances for some activity in the mountains once again, possibly maybe even into Tuesday. Now, the thing is, as we go through next week, I've been seeing the off and on chances for showers and thunderstorms, and that very well may be the case. But this is going to be one of those situations where looking this far out, it's just really honestly just not a very reliable look at things. We really, in a situation like this, look out 3, maybe 4 days with some confidence, but anything beyond that, the chances of any really overall sense of good confidence is pretty much out there. All right, so let's take a look at this. Here's your temperatures now. So here's what I'm expecting. For your Friday, what we're going to see here is temperatures kind of staying below 100 degrees. But now we're up to 100 degrees or higher come Saturday. And that trend lasts all the way through most likely the end of next week, maybe around Friday, dropping below 100, and of course continuing that slight downward trend going into that next weekend. So again, it's getting warmer and it's going to stay warm, but we're not looking at a massive increase in those temperatures. Should stay below 110 degrees. Look at overnight tonight, temperatures dropping down to the 50s and 60s. Interesting. These numbers here, I think that's a typo. I don't think we're going to get quite that low for Bernie or Chester. I'll have to double check those numbers here, but I'd say probably closer to the 40s and 50s. All right, so let's take a look at your temperatures here for your Friday. Temperatures are going to be in the low to mid 90s for the valley, 96 degrees for Redding, 94 for Red Bluff, 93 in Chico, and Orville about 91. Now notice, right? Susanville, Chester, Bernie, this area right here could possibly see a little bit of activity here in the form of a light shower, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm. But again, I think the chances are best for Susanville. Chances are slimmer as you head westward for at least tomorrow, right? Saturday, a bit of a different story. So here's your 7-day outlook. Mount Shasta, El Turris, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Now this is something I talked about this morning and even this afternoon. I still think that the best chances overall is going to be Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then, of course, on either side of that, there are areas that could see that. For example, tomorrow, Susanville might see some activity on Friday. And then on the other side of that, on Tuesday, it could linger on into Tuesday as well for places like Susanville and, of course, mainly in the eastern mountains. Now, for the valley, what I've got here for Saturday at least is a chance for some showers in the evening, late afternoon, early evening, and then going into the overnight hours possibly as well. Now, Sunday, I don't have anything for you in the valley just yet. That may change. I'm going to wait until I start seeing a little bit more consistency. I'm going to wait until I can get a better, closer look, that is, at the shorter range forecast model, which tends to have a better grip on things as far as the chances for thunderstorms are concerned. But the next thing, of course, we look at for the valley are the temperatures. Now, you notice, at least for Redding, we're back up to over 100 degrees by Saturday. We should stay that way at least through Thursday, if not even longer. That'll be the case for Red Bluff as well. But Chico, I think you're going to hold off for the triple digits until the second half of the weekend and just barely get over 100 degrees here for Monday through Thursday.